are now making their case to the international community. The big question is, can Africa's Macky Sall overcome global power politics to secure the top post? We'll find out shortly and speak more about his attempt at the top job. Also, a little later, we're looking at the Africa's World Cup story, which is now narrowing to Egypt and Morocco. Two teams now carrying the continent's hopes as the race for glory is now intensifying. So would it be the Atlas Lions or the Pharaohs who will make it through to the next round? We're focusing on all of that, plus giving you a breakdown from Joy Sports in a moment. And we're also focusing on Nigeria, where two individuals have been reportedly killed in South Africa at a time that foreigners are being unduly targeted there. What's accounting for this? We'll find out a bit more, all about that and more here on your Joy News channel. This is Connect Africa. First, though, we give you a wrap of some of the major stories. My name is Blessed Sogah. We'll be right back with details as well.
Nigeria says two of its citizens have been killed in South Africa at a time it claims foreigners are being unduly targeted there. The country's foreign ministry reports that Emeka Charles Iroigbu was reportedly killed on June 28 by police officers, allegedly using severe interrogation methods. It adds that unidentified attackers also killed shop owner Musa Yunana Joe on the same day. Authorities in South Africa say investigations are ongoing. The South African capital, Pretoria, has confirmed that the cases are under review. Nigeria's foreign ministry links the incidents to what it describes as rising anti-migrant sentiment in South Africa. It says about 25,000 foreign nationals across African countries have been repatriated by their home governments, including roughly 700 Nigerians. The ministry further reports that Iroigbu was killed in Pretoria by officers from the Chwane Metropolitan Police Department. South Africa's police oversight body says it received the complaint last week and has begun investigations. In a separate incident, Musa Yunana Joe was killed on June 28 outside his shop in Imanleni. Police in South Africa say he was approached by an armed suspect who opened fire before fleeing the scene. Meanwhile, Ghana has also reported receiving information about the killing of one of its nationals in Cape Town during anti-migrant protests, a claim South African authority has dismissed as false information. At least 9 farmers have been killed and several others abducted in a deadly attack on a farming community in Nigeria's Kaduna state, highlighting worsening insecurity affecting rural livelihoods as armed gangs step up violence during the planting season. Security sources and local reports say armed bandits stormed farmland outside Kakanji village in the Gwari district on Saturday, opening fire on farmers as they worked during the peak of the rainy agricultural period. A security report prepared for the United Nations indicates that 9 bodies were recovered, with 6 victims identified by local authorities. Community leaders say the attack may have been retaliatory. They explained that farmers had earlier killed an armed bandit who allegedly attempted to rob them. According to the report, the slain attackers' associates returned with reinforcements, carrying out a revenge attack that led multiple people dead and others missing. Local leader Kabiru Ishak, who visited the scene, says the death toll could be as high as 10. The incident comes despite a peace agreement reached in November 2024 between local authorities and armed groups in the Gwari district. However, repeated attacks have continued, with armed groups targeting villages, killing residents, abducting civilians for ransom, and looting property. The situation reflects a broader security crisis in northern and central Nigeria, where criminal gangs frequently impose illegal levies on farming communities. Those who refuse are often subjected to violent reprisals, disrupting farming activities and raising concerns over food security. Last month, at least 6 farmers were killed and about 20 others abducted in a similar attack on Danota village in the same district, underscoring the persistent threat facing rural communities. Tanzanian authorities have arrested dozens of people ahead of planned anti-government protests, intensifying a crackdown on dissent as activists demand democratic reforms and the release of jailed opposition leader Tundu Lissu amid heightened security across the country. Tanzanian authorities have detained dozens of people ahead of anti-government protests planned for Tuesday as security forces move to prevent demonstrations demanding political reforms. The planned protests coincide with the 72nd anniversary of the ruling Chama cha Pinduzi party and have been organized largely by young activists calling for greater democratic freedoms and the release of opposition leader Tundu Lissu. Speaking on Sunday, Army spokesperson Sylvester Mangure warned that any demonstrations would not be tolerated following the government's recent ban on political rallies. Mangure also accused unnamed individuals of recruiting young people by falsely claiming that the military supported the planned protests. He urged citizens to report anyone involved in organizing demonstrations, saying the armed forces would act against anyone found to be disrupting public order. Security has been significantly reinforced in Dar es Salaam, with police officers and soldiers deployed along major roads and in public spaces. While authorities have not officially linked the increased security presence to the planned protests, critics argue the deployments are intended to discourage demonstrators. Police spokesperson David Misimi said law enforcement agencies had intensified operations against groups allegedly mobilizing people through social media to participate in what authorities describe as illegal protests. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for the creation of a global system to govern artificial intelligence, warning that the technology is advancing faster than the world can manage. Speaking at the UN Global Dialogue on AI Governance in Geneva, Guterres said AI must be developed in the service of humanity and not allowed to shape humanity's future without clear rules and accountability. He warned that AI is transforming economies, workplaces, elections, and global security at a pace that governments and institutions are struggling to match. Guterres said stronger international cooperation is urgently needed to ensure the technology is safe, fair, and respects human rights. The UN chief also raised concerns over AI's growing environmental impact, urging technology companies to disclose the energy demands of their AI systems and commit to powering data centers with renewable energy by 2030. His strongest warning focused on the military use of artificial intelligence. Guterres called for a ban on autonomous lethal weapons capable of selecting and attacking targets without meaningful human control, arguing that decisions over life and death should never be delegated to machines. He said the world has a narrow window to establish effective global safeguards, warning that today's decisions will determine whether AI becomes a force for progress or a source of greater risk for future generations.
Well, some of the major stories making the headlines across Africa, and back to the focus on the race for UN Secretary General, as the race for that slot of the top job at the United Nations is gathering momentum, with 6 candidates now officially seeking to succeed Antonio Guterres when the second and final term ends December 31st this year. Now, for the first time in the selection process, candidates have been publicly presenting their visions, which has happened before as well, to some UN member states, outlining how they would lead an organization grappling with funding shortages, also escalating conflicts, climate change, and growing questions over the effectiveness of multilateral institutions.
These include former Chilean President Michelle Bachelet, International Atomic Energy Agency Director General Rafael Grossi of Argentina, former Costa Rican Vice President and UN official Rebecca Greenspan, former Senegalese President Macky Sall, former Ecuadorian Foreign Minister and former President of the UN General Assembly Maria Fernanda Espinosa, and Guyana's permanent representative to the UN Caroline Rodriguez Burkett, who became the latest entrant in the race in June. The contest is widely being viewed as a test of the UN's ability to reform itself at a time when the organization faces a financial crisis with billions of dollars in unpaid member state contributions, while also responding to wars in multiple regions, humanitarian emergencies, and climate-related disasters. Several candidates have also argued that it is time for the United Nations to appoint its first female Secretary General in its more than 80-year history. Women currently make up 4 of the 6 declared candidates. The selection process now moves to closed-door deliberations by the 15-member UN Security Council later this month. The Council will eventually recommend one candidate to the 193-member General Assembly, which is expected to formally appoint the next Secretary General before the end of the year. Any of the Security Council's 5 permanent members, the United States, China, Russia, and the United Kingdom or France, can block a candidate using their veto power.
So let's focus now on Africa's candidate, former Senegalese President Macky Sall, who says the United Nations must embrace a new era of reinvented multilateralism. And of course, we will be bringing you excerpts of what Macky Sall has been saying a bit more. But we're joined now by Adama Gaye, Senegalese author, as we look at the chances of the candidates that we're looking at, specifically looking at the African perspective. Adama Gaye, thank you so much for your time. Macky Sall has been out with his plan and what he intends to do. And of course, as we know it, the race is intensifying. So what do you first of all make of his address today?
It was rather hanky-panky, his speech. It was not very clear because in his presentation, Mr. Macky Sall said that he's running for the post despite not having the support of Africa as a continent, having been selected and pushed forward by a country, Burundi, whose president Evariste Ndayishimiye is not a model of good governance. And Mr. Macky Sall himself has presented his core principles as a candidate. He wants to promote peace and security, rule of law, and development. But when it comes to rule of law, we Senegalese, we know who Macky Sall is. He left our country, almost literally forced to leave the country because many people under his watch were killed. People like me were forced to go on exile, and the rule of law was not prevailing under his watch. So we don't see him properly as a good candidate who could represent the continent at that level. That's why, by the way, the Senegalese government refused to back him up.
Yeah, he's been addressing the fact that his own country does not support him, except to say that he's getting support from other countries. For instance, Burundi, he says, is putting up that support for him. Is that not sufficient once he's gone through the nomination process?
No, if we look at the history of the UN generalship's position, we can see that never in the history has it been someone who had not been put forward by his country to be elected. That has never happened. And by the way, in the current situation, it's not the time for Africa to run for the position. It's America and the Caribbean to occupy the position. So Mr. Macky Sall is forcing for an agenda that he has not yet revealed. I suspect that he's trying just to occupy the field, to gain momentum, gain time on the media and on the diplomatic scene in order to legitimize what seems to be his own objective, become relevant again in Senegalese politics, because we know in 2-3 years' time there will be a new election, and I suspect that Macky Sall, that's what he's eyeing, not the UN Secretary General job.
And when you say that, some will take you on that, because Macky Sall for now says he's positioning himself as the candidate from Africa with extensive leadership experience, he says.
Oh, that's what he says. I know Macky Sall for nearly 30 years. I know him seriously, closely. I have been engaged with him. We traveled together in many places, and I know what he did in Senegal. And I became the strongest critic of his leadership in Senegal. And everybody knew what I said. I even paid 53 days of jail for challenging him and actually contributing to defeating him. Many people, I repeat, were killed under his watch. They say 80, 100, thousands of people jailed in a democratic context like Senegal as had been in the past. No, Macky Sall is not qualified to represent Africa. It would be a shame for Africa to have somebody like him run for the job. We have to be very strong about that. It's about ethics. It's about his criminal records. It's about the financial catastrophe he left our country in. And also, it is about his incapacity to run the United Nations at this very moment when the UN is in serious trouble. He's not the right person. Yeah, nor the right place.
But if you look at his vision, quite timely, isn't it? Looking at the vision he speaks about peace in the Middle East, talking about the need for more dialogue across the world. You're saying all of this is not relevant to the world now?
No, I'm not saying that's part of the element that everybody agrees on. That's like we say in French, ouvrir les portes. Already opening doors that are not even closed. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows about peace, good governance, rule of law. Those are how can you call it? Those are general principles that everybody agree on. The problem is what we have done. What is your background? What are your track record? That's what is more important. Beyond that, I listened carefully to what Macky Sall had to say when he was interviewed, whether it was yesterday or today at the UN Secretary General or General Assembly. But what he said belongs to the past. The new world in which we are in involves new knowledge, the technology, arts, culture, restitution, rule of law, good governance, the youth, demographics, the risk of recolonization of areas like Africa. And also, really, we need leaders who are very serious and able to deliver. Even Mr. Guterres, who was elected, the current holder of the position in June 2016, he ran and he won. I met him at the Chatham House, London International Conference. And when he won, everybody was surprised, but he won November 2016. He's not able to running the organization despite his long experience being a prime minister of Portugal, having been a former high commissioner of the United Nations for refugees, yet he's leaving the organization in total dismay. So in the case of Macky Sall, what I want to tell you is this. It's the fact that this is not the turn of Africa. This is the turn of Latin America. And I've lived enough to have seen what happened in the past about the UN selection. In the past, if you take the case, it's from the 1980s, 1981, that Africa started eyeing for the post. In 1981, if you recall, Salim Ahmed Salim, who then was ambassador of Tanzania at the United Nations, who fought for China to be readmitted on 25th October 1971 within the UN Secretary General, UN General Assembly and UN Security Council to take the place of Taiwan. Mr. Salim Ahmed Salim was a leading contender for that job. Yet in 1981, he failed because the US administration said no because of his close ties with the Chinese. So at that time, it was a Peruvian, Mr. Perez de Cuellar, who won. Also, we have had the case of Mr. Olusegun Obasanjo. After he left the power in the early 1980s in Nigeria, he tried to vie for the position. Yet they told him, you are a former military, we don't want a military at the helm of the UN. So later on, Africa made a case that was more compelling in 1991, when we had in Abuja the UN OAU General Assembly organized in Abuja. That was just the new capital of Nigeria. At that time, if you recall, the headquarters of the OAU was not in safe condition because the regime of Mr. Mengistu Haile Mariam, who used to be running Ethiopia, was collapsing under the attack of the Tigrayan, led by Mengistu Haile, by how do you call him? The late president of Ethiopia. The name will come back, and then he was defeated. So that's why they organized the summit in Abuja. And when we met there at that summit, Africa created what was called the Africa Economic Community. That was supposed to be in place after 35 years. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But at that time, Africa was discussing about how to get a job of running the UN top leadership job. So at that time, Africa had very serious candidates, including for Ghana, Kenneth Dadzi, who used to be then the head of UNCTAD, United Nations Trade Organization. We have had somebody like James Jonah, a Sierra Leonean, who was almost a number 2 at the United Nations at that time. We had somebody like Zimbabwe's Bernard Chidzero, who was the Minister of Finance of Zimbabwe. We had also Olara Otonu, a Ugandan top diplomat, and also even people talk about Babacar Ndiaye.
But in all of this, in all of this, fast forward, we still had Africans who were successful.
Yes,
at the attempt.
No, but in 1991...
So why then should Macky Sall be an exception?
This is different. This is different, and I've been one of the serious people involved in it. I can tell you about how Africa got the first time the job. In November 1991, suddenly came out of the blue, in addition to those candidates I mentioned, the Egyptian top diplomat, Boutros Ghali. When he was candidate, we have had at that time the Francophone Summit in Paris, and I asked the question to the then French President, François Mitterrand. I say, why do you want to include the linguistic conditionality, Francophone, French language, to run the United Nations? And Mr. Mitterrand responded to me, Mr. Guy, that's what everybody does, and we do it. The next day, on the 22nd of November 1991, or 21st of November 1991, Mr. Boutros Ghali was elected. So that was the first time an African was elected at the United Nations as Secretary General. But 4.5 years after, Mr. Ghali had problem with the Clinton administration because Clinton and Mrs. Albright, who was then the Secretary of State, the top diplomat of the United States, said that Mr. Boutros Ghali was fighting the interests of America, including in the Middle East. That's why America said no. And in 1996, 5 years down the line, since America got a veto against Mr. Boutros Ghali, then suddenly, coming from Serbia, Herzegovina, Kofi Annan, who used to be running the peace operation, became the candidate that was put forward by President of Ghana, President Jerry Rawlings. I was involved in that campaign, myself, Dr. Ibn Chambas, and the President of Ghana, who trusted me to support Kofi Annan, who was also a friend of mine. So on November 1996, Mr. Annan was elected on the basis that Africa should be given the chance to have a second time to run the organization, because all other regions that have had the position, they have had it for twice. So that's why, on that basis, that Kofi Annan was elected. But since he did a good job, and he is a soft, smooth diplomat, he was given another term until 2004. So that's the reality of Africa having occupied the position. But these are top serious diplomats. I am telling you, excuse me, not to mince my words, Macky Sall is a criminal and he is trying to run away from Senegal. He should be at this time paying his dues in jail and reimbursing billions of dollars stolen from Senegal. So this is not a qualified person. We have to be candid about the reality. In 1996, when Kofi Annan was running, I recall I was interviewed by BBC on their top-level program, Newsnight. They sent people interviewing me in New York. And I was maybe there among the few who supported Kofi Annan, because the African Union, OAU then, wanted to back Mr. Boutros-Ghali. But since America said no, Africans had to rally around Kofi Annan after he won. But this was not something that Africa got on the basis of a unity of Africa. In the case of Macky Sall, to be honest with you, if you have him as the UN Secretary General, he's going all around the world promising the moon to the West, and he will be selling out.
All right.
When we are fighting in Africa for the respect of our rights against slavery, against colonialism, when we are fighting to have a voice for Africa that is credible and respected, you have somebody who is ready to sell the continent to be a candidate. It is not acceptable. And we have to be open in the world. Yeah. Africa first needs to know about who this person is. It's not something we could be playing with as if we could allow him because he has been president of Senegal. It would be a disaster. And I'm telling you, mark my word.
Okay. We'd like to leave it here. Thank you so much for spending time with us and explaining that historical perspective to us. We wait to see what the outcome of the race will be. Adama Gaye joining us somewhere, I believe, from Europe.
Always. From Brussels. Yeah. I'm in Europe, in Belgium.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us and grateful as always for spending time with us here on the program. Well, speaking of Macky Sall himself, he's been laying out his vision. We can listen to excerpts of that. And that we'll bring to you later in the program. But it's time to talk about all of the excitement and more happening at the World Cup, because as we know it now, there are just two teams that are lifting our hopes up. And that's because the Black Stars couldn't scale through. And what we know now is that, well, Morocco.
Yep.
And then
Egypt.
Okay. The secret is out. Yeah, I gave that earlier. But guess what? Joy Sports Musbal is joining us with the latest to break it all down for us and to give us a sense of what's happening regarding the World Cup and the African teams. Sad to say, though, that the national team coach for the Black Stars is leaving. He seems to be very normal about it in his message.
Yeah, I mean, even for that, there's a bit of confusion surrounding it because some interactions that he's had with some of our colleagues in the USA at the moment, he has indicated that he's not resigning, except that the message he gave was relative to the World Cup. So he was speaking in the context of the World Cup that, well, his journey with the team in the World Cup has ended, but as far as his journey with the Black Stars, it hasn't officially ended. We know that his contract with the Ghana Football Association is expected to run until August. So that contract is still running until the FA decides to extend it. But it is this statement that gave us this confusion that he has resigned. And if you look at that second paragraph, he says that even just within the first paragraph, in the opening paragraph, he says, I leave this journey with pride in what we achieved. That is the statement that gave a lot of people the sense that, well, he's leaving this journey, and this journey he meant the Black Stars coaching.
But that's not the case?
Yeah, he says it's relative to the World Cup. So his contract, he will stay on his contract till August, and the FA will engage him, I'm sure.
Yeah, whatever the case, maybe he's giving us a signal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he has, and that's the interesting.
And being strategic about it.
Yeah, because some of our colleagues caught up with him in the hotel in the USA and asked him directly, "Are you resigning?" He said, "No, I'm not resigning. I'm not resigning." However, he has not also given us an indication that he wants to continue the job as a Black Stars coach. However,
because if your contract ends in August, just look at the number of months we have.
Yeah, we're in July.
Yeah,
June, July, August. Yeah, next month. So what's the point in resigning? You know, just wait for the contract.
Any comments from the GFA on this?
Well, we understand that GFA were surprised about the statement and the subsequent reports that he has resigned. They were like, "Well, your contract ran till August. Why are you even resigning?" Okay, so the FA was surprised. Now, the sense we're also getting from the FA is that they want him to continue. That's why they were surprised with the statement which sought to suggest that he has resigned. So there is a certain feel among the FA leadership that they want him to continue. So they want to re-engage him for the AFCON qualifiers and hopefully the AFCON next year.
What's the view out there? Because if you ask me, he had quite a very short time to handle the Stars. In fact, he was coming in almost when we were starting the World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, the view out there is that people want him to continue. You know, they want him to continue because if you look at the way we have changed coaches for the Black Stars, if he leaves, the new coach will become the 7th coach in, say, the last 5 years or so.
Probably like the UK now, isn't it?
Exactly. That's just ridiculous. And people are not very comfortable with it. And if you look at the amount of time he had with the team and what he was able to produce in this World Cup, there are people who feel that he should continue and hopefully he can get to improve the team. And even the captain of the side, Jordan Ayew, has also shared similar sentiment where he said he wants the coach to continue as the head coach. Yeah,
but if it does continue, how then are we to see his expertise on display? Any major tournaments that will afford him that opportunity?
Yes. So the immediate assignment is the AFCON qualifiers. So we have an AFCON happening next year, 2027. It's happening in Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. So 3 nations hosting it sometime next year. So, but we've got AFCON qualifiers, and we have a game in September, and we're going to keep playing, I think, till about March sometime next year. So that's his immediate assignment, which is to qualify Ghana to the AFCON. And if he does, so then, of course, he'll get to lead the team to the AFCON, and hopefully the Black Stars can go there and win the AFCON there. He led Egypt to the AFCON some time back, and he managed to take them all the way to the finals where they lost to Senegal. So he's got some experience when it comes to the AFCON, and the FA is hoping that they can tap into that experience, lead the Black Stars, and hopefully come next year.
But fast forward, let's leave the Black Stars now because they're out of the competition.
Yeah.
So we have 2 teams now.
Yeah.
Your best bet is on?
So we have 2 teams in different phases of the competition. Morocco, as we speak, they have advanced to the quarterfinals. All right. They played Canada. They won that game 3-0. They'll play France in the quarterfinals. Now Egypt is still in the round of 16. They're playing Argentina tomorrow, and they're able to beat Argentina. Then they will join Morocco in the quarterfinals. So the immediate assignment for the African side is Egypt tomorrow against Argentina. And Argentina themselves, of course, they knocked out Cape-Verde in that thrilling game, and they are meeting another African side. So Egypt is what we are waiting to see them advance to the quarterfinals. If Egypt fails to do that, then Africa will be left with just 1 country in the tournament, Morocco, and they will be facing France with the hope of continuing their historic run.
Who has the stamina to keep going?
I think obviously it's Morocco. Morocco, they've now gone to the next stage, so it's a big challenge against France. They did meet France in the last World Cup in the semi-finals, and France were the reason why Morocco couldn't make it to the finals. So they have a certain hope to avenge that. We'll see if they can do it. But Egypt have also got a slim chance, but Argentina, reigning champions, is going to be very challenging. And we saw what they did to Cape-Verde, despite how they tried. Argentina showed that if they got Lionel Messi on their side, they can always find a way to overcome teams. So I think Morocco have got a good chance of continuing, but it's a difficult one against France.
And the concern for many fans around the world, especially African fans, has got to do with the manner in which we lost most of the African teams. Some of them doing considerably well in their games, only to give up at the very last minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's a major concern. You look at South Africa, they conceded 90+2. You look at Algeria, they also conceded, for Algeria, they lost very terribly, 2-0 against Switzerland. But you talk about Ivory Coast, who conceded after the 80th minute. Senegal also conceded after the 80th minute. For each of the game, the context is different, but the overall picture there is that the African sides appear to struggle to finish well. They appear to struggle finishing well. And so it's a concern for teams like Senegal, probably the most disappointing of them all, leading by 2-0 with just about 4 minutes or 6 minutes at the end of the game. And they ended up conceding twice against Belgium and also conceded a penalty in extra time. So it's very disappointing why they could not hold on to win the game. Very disappointing. And I'm sure for the respective African teams, they'll have to do their own introspection, assess what went wrong and improve. But we had a chance. We really, really had a chance. If you look at each game and how well they were doing.
But if you look at that lineup of African teams leaving the tournament, there's been a lot of praise for Cape Verde.
Yeah,
because of how they fought so hard to make it, except to say it didn't end well.
I think they were probably, except for Morocco, who obviously won their game, Cape Verde were the side that made Africa truly proud in this tournament. They made Africa very, very proud because they were this close to knocking out Argentina. Argentina themselves knew how they struggled. After the game, Lionel Messi was full of praise for the Cape Verdean team. The Argentines were full. Even when the game ended, the Argentine fans in the stadium were applauding the Cape Verdeans because they gave them a run for their money. Yeah. It's incredible. And to think that this is Cape Verde's first appearance at the World Cup and the manner in which they decided to take on some of the giants in this tournament is incredible. And this was their arrival in Cape Verde.
Lots of people there should be very happy about the performance.
Incredible. First time at the World Cup, and the people are truly proud of them. And this is how you go and represent your country. You know, and the manner in which they lost, nobody can look at that and say, well, it was disappointing. They didn't give their best. They gave their very best. Went down, came back twice against Lionel Messi's Argentina. Nobody saw that happen. There were those who predicted that they'll possibly lose by 3-0, etc. But look at their journey. Their first game was against Spain, and Spain could not score against them. That was so impressive, you know. And
so they've had tougher sides to meet than any other.
They have had some very challenging games. And you know, but look, they made themselves proud. They made the country proud, and I think you could tell the faces of the people there that they are proud of what they did for them. This is truly special, and in contrast to the Black Stars who have started sneaking into the country, you can understand.
At the back already.
Some of them have come. I'm not sure why they decided to come in that manner, because Inaki Williams came into the country, Ernest Niema has also returned, but a few of the players are also still there. I'm not sure what the FA's arrangement is. If you're going to see an official arrival of the Black Stars into the country, but it looks unlikely because some of them have started, you know, they're going back to their respective countries, and also because it's holiday season, some of them are going to have their rest before they join their respective clubs. But I'm not sure what the arrangement is. If they are able to arrive at the airport, say we are sorry for not doing our best.
Why should they be sorry, by the way?
Because it was a disappointing performance. I don't think even themselves they were proud of it. The FA president says they were proud because, and that's what I find interesting. The FA president in a statement said, well, people did not even believe the Black Stars could advance beyond the group stage. That's true. But prior to the tournament, the FA president says he was going to conquer the world.
Yeah. But you do it in a nice way.
Yeah, he said he was going to conquer the world prior to the tournament. And now it was really disappointing because you felt that the Black Stars had the opportunity. The moment you got out of the group stage, which many people do not feel you can do, the moment you got out, you need to give yourself a chance to keep going. And they had that chance in the game against Colombia. Colombia, you look at the game, Colombia was beatable. That's why they didn't give the all. It's just
and there's lots of talk about the skipper of the team, Jordan Ayew.
Yeah.
Is he out of the woods regarding, you know, playing for the national team again?
Well, he has not indicated whether he's going to retire or he's going to continue. At the moment, it looks like he's going to continue. And I'm thinking that he's looking to play the last AFCON, next year's AFCON, then maybe after that he can part ways with the national team. I think he's got his eyes on the AFCON. He really wants to win something with the Black Stars.
Also, he's going to play the national team again?
Yeah, he's most likely. He hasn't retired, so he's available.
He's available, or he'll be playing?
Well, it's
which is
which? The coach is the one.
What informs that constant? Well, is it because he's skipper? So, well, you can't skip him.
I mean, if he is playing, right now he hasn't got a club. He gets a club, he's playing regularly, the coach feels that he can contribute to the team, he will call him, he'll come and play. So everything lies in the coach, just like his brother Dede Ayew. Akufo-Addo decided that he does not want Dede Ayew in his team again, and Dede Ayew never got to be part of the team. So it's up to the coach. If the coach believes that he wants him in the team, he will be there. He cannot force himself into the team. But it's important that we don't freeze him out like the way he did to his brother.
But I mean, is the criticism justified against him? You know, it appears people are just so impatient with him.
Yeah, he's the captain of the side. Ultimate responsibility. You will bear it. Look, if we had won gone so far in this tournament, nobody will be raising some of the things that they raise about his performance on the field. Everybody will be hailing him because he would have been the leader of a team that made the country proud. But if the team did not do well, ultimate responsibility, he will bear it.
Are we regretting now that Dede Ayew, his brother, did not join the team to support him?
I think if you ask any Ghanaian, nobody regrets that. No, nobody regrets Dede Ayew. Dede Ayew had the opportunity in 2022. He was there, captain of the side at the World Cup. And we saw what happened. We could not even advance beyond the group stage. So it's not as if he has done something.
No two World Cups are the same.
Yeah, exactly. Well, fair enough. But even prior to the World Cup, he hadn't distinguished himself so well to convince everybody that if he goes to the World Cup, he can contribute meaningfully to the team. No, he hasn't done that. So there was no point for anybody to regret. And I don't think there was a lot of uproar when he was not included. There were just a few people who felt that he should be added. But he wasn't added, and I don't think it changed anything.
Yeah. We're talking about Africa, but obviously the tournament will end with only one winner. Is this Ronaldo's World Cup or Messi's World Cup?
Ronaldo is playing Portugal. He's playing Spain in just about 20 minutes from now. And I think after this game, we can tell if he can go very far. For Lionel Messi, what he's done so far in the tournament, 7 goals, he's now scored 20 goals, leading the scoring charts in the World Cup all time. He has shown us that, look, he can continue to play at the very highest level.
And it appears that there's more for Ronaldo to catch up in this season.
Yes, because Lionel Messi has won the World Cup and Ronaldo hasn't won it before. So for a lot of the people who support Ronaldo, they want to see Ronaldo also lift the World Cup because that's the only thing that has eluded him. Yeah. So they want him to equal that record of Lionel Messi. But we can only wait to see. I cannot, like I said, they've got a game against Spain. If he win against Spain, then I think Portugal have got a chance. But
Spain is a tough.
Very tough. And don't be surprised if tomorrow you wake up and they say Spain have knocked Ronaldo out of the World Cup.
Goodness.
They are a very good side. And even Ronaldo knows that he's facing a very
Will this be Ronaldo's last World Cup appearance?
Most likely. Most likely. He's not 41. The next World Cup will be 45. I cannot understand why he would want to be playing at the age of 45. He should be sitting at the VIP bars and drinking whatever and just enjoying himself like all the players are doing.
I see.
You know, but there is Kylian Mbappe, France also. At the moment, they are super favorites.
Yeah, the French team, they seem to want to take it and make a statement again.
Yeah, I mean, they've been to the finals of the last 2 World Cups. They look like they can go all the way to the final. So, so far, they've been incredible. Kylian Mbappe has scored 7 goals so far. He's captain of the team. He's been doing really well. They have a very balanced side. I think they've been exceptional. But then there is also England in the mix somewhere there, who had a very difficult game against Mexico yesterday. They managed to dispatch Mexico, and I think they showed intent that they are ready to bring it home, but still a long way. They'll play Norway in their next game, who themselves have also been very good. They defeated Brazil, so Norway is another side to keep an eye on.
And one thing that's good about the World Cup is that it's also a stage for discovering some new talents.
Yeah.
And I can't keep our own goalkeeper, who we understand is being ranked.
Yes, Benjamin Asare, he really distinguished himself for the World Cup.
Yeah.
You know, and
that was really fast. Yes. So FIFA is taking track of what happened?
Yes. They are taking track of your performance, every goalkeeper's performance in the World Cup, the saves they make, you know, the clearances and a few other things they make. They are gathering all of that data and ranking the goalkeepers based on their performance. And I think he played in the second half against Panama. He played the full game against England. He played the full game against Croatia. And all of that data, they are running it. And I think at the end of the tournament, won't be surprised if he's...
Yeah. How's that likely to open up more opportunities?
Already we are hearing that some teams in Saudi Arabia are
really
him. So
that's a good
certainly,
one.
I think he's going to get a club out of the country when it's done. His agent definitely is going to get him a club, maybe for 2 years.
With just 2.5 games.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the World Cup does. You play 2-3 games, and Kevin Prince-Boateng didn't have a club in 2010. When he was done, he went straight to AC Milan, and who knows? Benjamin Asare will get some good money in Saudi Arabia, and he can end his career on a good note.
Yeah. But he will definitely spend some few months
at the moment, he's still in the World Cup. And the last video we saw of him, some Ghanaians were giving him some dollars. They were counting dollars given to him there. So,
and he seems to be taking in the glory really.
Very humble, lovely guy, and he's reaping the benefits.
Why is everyone talking about him and not about any other member of the national team?
Yeah, because his story is incredible. I mean, from Accra to Folk to the world stage, you know, it's special. I'm not sure the last time we saw that any player on the local scene, you know, distinguished himself on such a high level. Not many people fancied him. So when he got the opportunity, how he made the most of it, it has just won the heart of many people. And also, there's a certain strong support for Shatta Wale, and anybody who is affiliated to Shatta Wale, people just rally around him. So, yeah.
I'm sure Shatta is planning something personally for.
I hope
when he gets back.
I hope he
yeah, we hope something is working.
Yeah.
But let's wrap up by talking about the accountability aspect, because we can't, you know, just leave that out. Lots of fans there in the US to support the Black Stars. GFA has done quite a lot with some of these stars also joining in just to cheer the stars up. And they're saying all of this will make sense one day, and that the future of the national team is still bright.
Yeah.
Are they accountable enough? Are they explaining things, breaking things down properly?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. In terms of the future of the Black Stars is bright. We've got some really good talent. Coach Carlos even indicated that in the statement. We've got some really, really good talent. And I think if you are able to get a coach to stay with this team for long, then we can get something out of it. We can really get something out of it. But we need to be holistic in terms of how we want to fix our football. It should not just be Black Stars. Very important has to be our Ghana Premier League. And I think that's where we need to be spending a lot of time looking at improving our local league. Because look, the support of the Black Stars got during this World Cup season, no club in Ghana gets that during the regular season. Heart of Oak plays at the Crash Sports Stadium. I mean, it's empty. They get just about 200, 300, 500 fans watching. You know, Kotoko plays, same. So if you don't fix that fundamental issue, then you always want to rely on the Black Stars to show that you're working. You're not working, because the league has to be the base of the Black Stars. That's why some people make an argument that, oh, let's find local players to come and play for the Black Stars. You can't find any local player to play for the Black Stars, because the local league is not being taken good care of to ensure that you can have 5, 6 players to play for the Black Stars, unlike we saw in the past. So the league needs to be fixed. And I think the FA presidents and everybody, they shouldn't get caught up in the Black Stars fever.
We're going home.
Let's do something about the league.
We're going home with approximately $30 million US.
Yes.
Is that, and explain the mechanism for that fund. Is it coming straight to the Black Stars, or is it coming to the Republic?
Oh, it's coming to, so it will be given
to the
to FA, but to the government. It's government money. It's coming to the government.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's government money. It goes straight to the state coffers.
Oh, I see.
And then the state will decide, okay, the FA take this portion. In fact, the sports minister indicated that all of those proceeds will go to the sports fund. That's what the sports minister said. All of it will go to the sports fund. The FA obviously have made some expenses. They've pre-financed it. So all of those expenses, part of the money will be given to the FA for the expenses they pre-financed. And then
so if the FA says we've sent $10 million.
Yeah, they can't justify, produce receipts and invoices, then we'll give you back.
Then all of the cash is gone.
And the rest of it will stay in the sports fund. It cannot happen that all of it will be gone. If all of it goes because somebody has spent money.
Yeah, but that's possible, isn't it?
No, it happens. Of course, the people will take to the streets. You cannot spend 30 million. What did you spend it on?
On football, on good hotels.
Good hotels.
Yeah, and good games.
No, how much is good hotels?
Because you look at some of the tickets going as high as 4,000.
Yeah, for the tickets, that's why they raise money through the fund. They got
donation.
Exactly, the donations. That's what they used to spend.
So no excuse at all.
No, we want to see the money when it comes.
Expending $13 million.
After they've given the FA for the pre-financing, let's hear what is left. Let's hear what is going to be used for. That's what everybody's waiting for.
I see.
Yeah, it's government money now. It's taxpayers' money now. So we need to know what to be used for. Okay,
we'll be wrapping up shortly. The future of the World Cup from the US, it's moving. I mean, this 3-country arrangement was it's proving to be really good now.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's been good.
Yeah,
the atmosphere in Canada was
because when it started, lots of political questions and controversies here and there. Yeah. But it's turning out.
Yeah,
well.
Yeah, it really turned out well. Canada, brilliant hosting.
Yeah.
Mexico also. And then, of course, USA also really, really good tournament. And a lot of people have doubts. Is it going to live up to expectation? I'm telling you, it's been incredible.
Yeah.
Fans have had a really, really good time. Really good time.
But next will not be a 3-country arrangement.
It looks like that's what is going to continue, because the next World Cup will be hosted by Spain, Portugal, and Morocco.
That's a solid one.
Yeah. Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, the next World Cup.
Yeah.
So 2030 So yeah, it's going to continue like because of the number of teams that will participate in it. One country cannot host all of it. It's going to the financial burden is so heavy, and in this time of the world's economy, it will be. I'm not sure which country can. Maybe the US, but even them, I'm sure they will want to invest that much. You know, it's really expensive. It's really expensive. So even AFCON, AFCON, which has got 24 countries now, 3 countries are hosting it. Yeah. How much more the World Cup? 48 teams.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one. So it's going to continue. We're going to see more of 3 nations. But it's Saudi Arabia who have decided that the 2034 they'll host it alone.
Yeah. Because when you're so rich, as Donald Trump would say, you don't have to speak too much.
No.
You just have to
Saudi Arabia says we will host it alone. And they will just go burn some oil and you'll take care of everybody.
I'm sure by then we'll all be invited by the Saudi government. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us, Musbah, and of course, keep all of the action going on. It's happening right on some of our platforms, right?
Yeah, it's happening on Joy Prime. We've got the game Spain-Portugal on Joy Prime. It's happening just in about 10 minutes. We've got commentary also on Joy FM, so you can stay tuned and follow it.
All right, but from the team here, that's all time will allow us for Connect Africa. I'm Blessed Sogah. Log on to myjoyonline.com. More stories there for you. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye for now.
It doesn't take much to make a difference. Sometimes it begins right where you live. Care is not always loud. It lives in the simple things we do when no one is watching.
Good conduct begins with you and I, right here in our neighborhood.
Good Conduct, Great Life is brought to you by
Indomie.
Tastes great.
More Kivo inside. Kivo Gari Soaking Mix, a taste of Ghana.
Hey, what's up?
Life. It's moving so fast. Yesterday I was in class 4. Today I'm almost in JHS. My shoes don't fit me anymore. My voice is deeper. I was watching cartoons, but now they say I'm too old for that.
The more things change, the more they'll stay the same. I still love you the same.
Come accept that.
In a world that keeps changing, Kalipo still keeps making sweet memories.
I still love it.
But I told you to have a sip not to finish it.
Kalipo Food Juice Drink, making sweet memories. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
In a world where truth is contested, platforms are powerful, and democracy is under pressure, what shapes the story? The University of Media, Arts and Communication, through its School of Journalism and Media Studies, invites you to the State of Journalism, Media and Communication Conference 2026. Theme: navigating the future, journalism, media and communication in a dynamic world. Join global thought leaders, including the Vice-Chancellor of UNIMAC, Professor Eric Opoku-Mensah, Rector Professor Christiana Hammond, and Professor H.A. Sikankun, Dean of the School of Journalism and Media Studies, Professor Gregory Gonwi, Associate Professor at California State University, Juliet Amwa, Country Director, Emerging Public Leaders, Ghana, Kunle Adebajo, Investigations Editor, Professor Abena Enimwa Yeboah Bain, Dean, School of Information and Communication Studies, University of Ghana, and Ryan Kellett, 2025 Neiman Beckman Klein Fellow at Harvard University, for 2 days of powerful conversations on AI and the future of journalism, journalistic professionalism in Africa, media democracy and civic culture, fact-checking, misinformation and press freedom. Keynote speaker is Professor Christopher Rhodes of Harvard University and columnist with Al Jazeera. The conference chair is UNIMAC Vice-Chancellor, Professor Eric Opoku-Mensah. This virtual conference will take place on the 15th and 16th of July 2026. Be a part of the conversation shaping the future of media.
They call it gutter and they don't respect it, but we call it nature and we protect it. Abusia, this is more cleaner than some of the pipes in our household. This is how beautiful water is running in what you call gutter. Guys, obviously this is how the after is looking. Earlier we showed you before and how the whole place was messy. But now look at something, Bro, come on, see how clean the water is. Bro, you know we say this be gutter, it be clean water, but it is because you and I continues to mess our environment. We take every running water as gutter, but bro, this is not gutter. Come on, this is clean water. Clearly, if we commit respect to the environment, we will not struggle so much. So this is water, and as you can see, it is clean all the way. Bro, so wherever you are watching this video now, remember whatever it is you are calling gutter, like Nakole is a beautiful river that we can equally compare to River now. But we dump trash in Nakole and we call it gutter, but it is not. That is why I'm showing you how clean this water is. Come on, see how clean the whole water is. So next time you see somebody throwing trash into anything we call gutter, remember the person is messing with our water bodies, and you must go all out against whoever is doing that. Don't fold your arms and say you don't care. Because once we destroy all our water bodies, turning all of them into gutter, it clearly means that we are going to get to a point in life where drinking water will become a serious problem. We are inviting you. On Sunday, we will come back to this same location. It is really a long stretch all out. We need to do it in bits. We'll come back on